Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, Holiday Inn Express, the Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn, Russell Street Report, the original Green Turtle, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
In April 1959, Art Wall won the Masters, edging out Carey Middlecoff and Arnold Palmer by finishing birdie, 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 par birdie. 1 month later, Ocean City Golf Club celebrated the opening of their first 18 holes. That course has been transformed now into one of the most scenic golf layouts on the East Coast. Come experience 36 of the most beautiful and challenging holes you'll find anywhere. Ocean City Golf Club in Ocean City, Maryland.
Welcome back in. It is the original Green Turtles Ravens Wrap Show right here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, the strongest Ravens signaled affiliate on Delmarva, 93.5 The Beach. Don't forget, kickoff at 6:29, pregame at 5:59. You can catch all the action in case you're not watching in front of the TV. We are back here at the Blue Ox Bar and Grill, 127th Street Coastal Highway in Ocean City with a multitude of Ravens fans at Ravens Roost 44. Give yourselves a hand.
44.
And with it being such a big week, we want to welcome in here Joe Matrisic, who's got a proclamation from the town of Ocean City. So, Joe, I'm going to turn it over to you. If you have a step right there for me, go ahead.
Okay. For those of you that weren't in the council chambers on Tuesday, the mayor did read this proclamation from the mayor and city council. And it's whereas the Baltimore Ravens have experienced great success since they came into existence in 1996, making the playoffs 9 times since 2000. With 1 Super Bowl victory, 4 AFC North Division titles, and 2 AFC Championship titles. And whereas despite early injuries, the Baltimore Ravens won 10 regular season games, followed by playoff victories over the Indianapolis Colts, the Denver Broncos, and the New England Patriots. And whereas the Baltimore Ravens have advanced to the Super Bowl to meet the San Francisco 49ers on February 3rd, 2013. And whereas the Baltimore Ravens are such great ambassadors for the town of Ocean City, by hosting their annual Ravens Parade and Beach Bash at our Oceanside Resort. And whereas the Baltimore Ravens have displayed to all citizens and visitors to the town of Ocean City the results of dedication, extraordinary effort, and teamwork. Now therefore, I, Richard W. Meehan, Mayor, along with the Ocean City Council, do hereby proclaim Friday, February 1st, 2013 as Baltimore Ravens Purple Friday in Ocean City. And commend all citizens to join with us to recognize their efforts for an outstanding season by wearing the team's color, Purple Passion. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Joe. Joe, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Here it is.
Thanks, Joe.
And this is, you know, folks, this is a heck of a time. I mean, one that, you know, I think a lot of us in the room are old enough to remember that 2001 Super Bowl. But, you know, we've been through, as a group here collectively, we've been through, you know, 4 very great seasons, but in the playoffs, some very much heartfelt losses that we've had to take during the offseason. And, you know, to be here now on the precipice of a Super Bowl is unbelievable. And, you know, guys, we talk about storylines. Let's go back to the beginning of the year. Art Modell, who brought this team to Baltimore, has a patch on the Ravens jerseys. He passed away 4 days before the start of the season. If you remember Torrey Smith, his brother sadly passing away a day before the game against the New England Patriots in that Sunday night game, coming back and having an outstanding game. We talked about the change of offensive coordinators from Cam Cameron to Jim Caldwell. The 3 straight losses in December, the 4th and 29 we overcame, but a lot of doubt. Also, Jonathan Ogden, a semifinalist along with Art Modell to the Hall of Fame, it being Ray Lewis's last year. And you know, even though he says he's going to play next year, it's still, with salary cap implications, could be Ed Reed's last as a Raven. I mean, this is really a special time, John. You talk about a multitude of storylines, including the Harbaugh pitting brother versus brother. You really couldn't ask for anything better as a Ravens fan. And again, I mean, the icing on the cake is going to be that Super Bowl.
And of course, Joe Flacco overcoming all my constant criticisms. But hey,
where's your Flacco jersey? That's what I want to know.
Hey, I told you.
Did somebody buy him one?
I told you 5 was my favorite number. But I have to say, and I'm not going to spend time on this, but I told you so. I told you he could be the best quarterback in the league. I was not happy settling for average. He was no average Joe, as we say, Tommy. Don't you agree? He's playing. He's slayed 2 of the. He's a giant.
Don't go down that road with him.
He's outplayed Brady 3 times.
But he did that last year. I mean, why is everybody so down? I mean, he has some
0.3 and 0.4. All right.
And they won, but they won the game in 0.4. They still won. He completed 4 passes, but he didn't have to throw. I mean, they won 33-14. You're going to blame him for that? You can't blame him for that.
No.
You don't blame the kid. He was just following the game plan. So 0.4 means nothing. The score means everything.
The QBR. We lost those games.
I don't care.
We lost those games.
No, we won the one. We was 0.14 when they won 13. He was 4 for 14.
We lost to Houston
and they won. No, I'm talking about when we beat New England the last time we was 0.4. They still won 34-14.
I'm talking about
I don't think you're talking about you what. I'm just saying. If you believe in destiny, if you do believe in destiny, and I do, there's certain teams. I mean, like you said, all the things you just mentioned over there. I mean, if there's a team, and I've been listening to all sports talk radio like we all have, I'm sure, and watching ESPN. I'm actually amazed and surprised at how many people are picking the Ravens, to be honest with you, and it's great. I think it's kind of a jinx. Sports Illustrated picked them, and I thought, oh my God, when they put him on Joe Flacco on the cover 2 weeks ago, I thought we were done. But we survived that. But now Peter King picked them to win. But all these people, two Pittsburgh Steelers, Kiesel and Pouncey both picked the Ravens. I give the Steelers a lot of credit for that. That's pretty cool. But if there's destiny, all those things you mentioned, and look where they are. Because I got to tell you, probably a month ago or a month and a half ago, we were all probably looking like things ain't looking so good for us. But you know what? You got to give those guys a lot of credit. Not just, and I love Ray Lewis. I think he's awesome and great and everything. But you know what? Him coming back was great. But I tell you, there was something else there, and I think it's Flacco playing really well.
Well, I think John would agree with that.
A lot of confidence.
Steve?
I knew he could be the best, Steve.
I think when Steve Bisciotti came down, he talked about how much that Flacco meant to the team, and the question was asked of him, what makes you feel good about this team going forward? And he said the fact that I have Joe Flacco, and I think they've committed to him, even though Flacco took this chance to cash in for a lot of dollars.
He better believe in him now. He's going to pay him now.
Exactly, but he believes in him. That's the difference. I mean, you look at the last Super Bowl, we had Trent Dilfer as quarterback, and it's a much different scenario this year going on.
Yeah, no question. And the question was asked to Steve, what has made the difference in the Ravens making the playoffs 4 straight years, and he said Joe Flacco, clearly a quarterback. And I think a lot of the things that, and he doesn't have to be that vocal leader because that's Ray Lewis's job. Much in the same way that Ed Reed is a silent leader behind him on the defensive end. Joe doesn't have to be that guy. But the bottom line is, I think a lot of the things that some fans feels are negatives, I think are positives because you haven't heard people on of him this year about his contract. He's gone about his business. We're into the Super Bowl, and some players would gab to the media left and right about that. But the fact that he's cool, the fact that he doesn't let things phase him, mistakes phase him, he just goes back out there. Those things are actually positives. People sometimes look at it as negatives, but they're not. I think those are the characteristics that make him a very good quarterback. Just different, but good.
I mean, the guy has, 6 road wins. I mean, he already has. He's not even on his second contract, and he's like tied for most playoff wins or something. Has most road wins in the playoffs in NFL history. And it was interesting. I saw something on ESPN today too. Tom Brady hasn't won a Super Bowl since he became, the record-breaking gunslinger. I mean, when he was managing the offense, so to speak, and was just a normal guy. His legend was born as he was just a normal quarterback. Ever since he became the Tom Brady that we know him to be, he hasn't won anything. I mean, Flacco's outperformed Brady since he entered
I think that's
the
a
league.
bigger story. He's outplayed Brady twice in AFC Championship games.
That's 8 playoff wins to Brady's 3 since Flacco's been in the league. So I mean, so look, Flacco is he has I think he's probably has the best physical tools coming out of college that I've ever seen any player coming in the NFL. That's why I've always given him a hard time. And even his father says he's dull. All right, so I'm not alone here. His dad says he's
But he
dull.
wins.
But he wins.
I don't care about
And
dull.
tell you
I'm
what,
not hanging out with him on a Friday night.
But he's so mentally tough. I keep saying this. When you can overcome wind like it, Tom Brady couldn't overcome the wind. His balls were fluttering. He was uncomfortable. Peyton Manning couldn't overcome the cold, but Joe Flacco could do both. So whatever you say about him, focusing on good or bad, the dude is tough. The dude's an athlete. He's got the tools. He's a gunslinger, and I'm glad he's on our side.
Guys, that's worth a clap. Of course, the big headlines this week in the Super Bowl, which I think is a great thing, it all surrounds Ray Lewis, as it should, which takes a lot of pressure off the other players. But, just some insight here. The Ravens' defense have been on the field a lot during the playoffs. 256 plays to be exact, in which Ray has been on the field for every single one of those plays. And he's second since 2000 in most tackles in the NFL, which leads you to believe that he's still got something left in the tank there, Steve. He's still playing at a very high level.
I think it's amazing that, he only needs one tackle to break the record for the playoff span. I guess Dan Connolly from Carolina is one tackle
Dan Morgan,
ahead of him. Yeah, and to do that, to come back in your 17th year and have the record for playoff tackles, I think is amazing. He's definitely galvanized, and I don't think you could say too much because I said at the beginning, I said, they can get Ray at 75%, they got a chance. Well, they didn't just get him at 75%. They got him at 125%. Granted, a lot of other people on the defense are playing a lot better too, but I think he was that final piece that galvanized. And the other thing, I think, before the game, whether it was ceremonial or not, him talking to Joe and say, hey, I'm leaving. This is going to be your team now. Granted, I don't think Flacco is ever going to be the tremendous leader that Ray was. But for him, he's actually talking. I saw him interviewed on shows, and he said, yeah, I'm going down there to win the Super Bowl. That's not something that Joe Flacco would have said, before this year. So I think he realizes that, hey, once Ray leaves, a little bit of the onus is going to come to him.
I think, though, Tommy, that it's easier to make tackles when you grow on antlers.
Well, I knew we were going to I'll be honest with you. Ray Lewis isn't the Ray Lewis. No, Ray Lewis isn't. Ray isn't the guy we knew. But you know what?
I think he was joking.
I think a lot of people, and again, listen to these people that talk about the other players on ESPN and all that stuff. To a man. Sometimes Ray can get a little out there and crazy, and I love him to death. Nobody loves him more than I do, and I love the Ravens more. But he gets a little. But you know what? Nobody gets more respect and gets more respect, not just on his team, but throughout the league. To a man, to an all-pro, to all the great players, because he works harder than everybody else, and always has, and that's where he gets respect. Flacco, why? Sometimes he drives me crazy, but his strengths can be his weaknesses. They call him Joe Cool. Sometimes I see him when we lose these games, and he'd be back there making a bad play. We'd walk off the field and be like, show some more emotion and stuff. But you know what? In the playoffs, he didn't get flustered. He didn't get excited. He didn't panic. He was Joe Cool. And it was some people, me, sometimes I'd be like, show some fires. But I think he gets there. He shows the fire when he gets on the sideline. But sometimes he's not the guy that gets in their face and screams and yells. But he leads in a different way. But I tell you what, he deserves so much. So many accolades, but you know what? And not only that, but it's the guys like Pitta, it's the guys like Pierce. Those guys are the guys that are going to carry the Ravens. It's not just the headline guys, but you got to think of all these guys. And Kruger. Guys like that are the guys that have helped got the Ravens to where they are right now.
All right, we'll be back to preview the upcoming game, Super Bowl 47 against the San Francisco 49ers. It's a Ravens Wrap Show, Comcast Beach TV, and 93.5 The Beach.
Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, Holiday Inn Express, the Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn, Russell Street Report, the original Green Turtle, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
Welcome to the Comfort Inn Gold Coast. Conveniently located just 1 block from the beach and adjacent to shopping at the Gold Coast Mall and the movie theater. Newly renovated and open year-round with a marvelous bayfront view. Visit us on the web at comfortgoldcoast.com and see our hot deals and great golf packages, or simply call our direct reservation line to plan your stay.